Hello and welcome to the United Stand. This is our Manchester United versus Liverpool US Tour preview, as well as the latest Manchester United transfer news and news. Lots to talk about. Jose Mourinho is apparently I can't get my words out. Apparently he's planning a clear out at Manchester United. Now, the important thing I want to say about that is, because I've got to get into Liverpool, something about that very quickly, and then we'll come back to this. But remember, when it comes to selling players, we haven't got 2 weeks, we've got about 6. Because that's only if we're selling in England. If we're selling outside of England, their transfer window doesn't close to the end of August. So selling isn't necessarily important as buying over the next couple of weeks. But I'll come back to that and who he's looking to clear out very, very soon. First of all, I just want to talk about Liverpool, because we are going to play Liverpool tomorrow night. I'm really excited about it. I know it's only pre-season, but it's a very important game for Manchester United and those players that we've put a lot of faith in. Sanchez, Pereira, Bailly, people like that, because Liverpool will be at full strength, which we'll talk about in a moment. But I just want to say this. I put a tweet out off my account, at Mark Goldbridge, about an hour ago, basically saying what I'm going to cover now, which is that Liverpool fans have just been at it all summer. Now, you say anything against a Liverpool fan, victim mentality, and they're all over your timeline. What I said is that reality is, what business have Liverpool done that's better than ours, actually? And we've still got business to do. They've bought Alisson. To be honest, they could have bricked up their goal. They could have bricked their whole goal up so there was no gaps, and it still wouldn't be better than De Gea. So well done for getting a decent goalkeeper, but De Gea is infinitely better than any goalkeeper in the Premier League. Fabinho, I like Fabinho, but Liverpool fans are already turning on him, saying he's a little bit slow. And to be honest with you, from what I've seen of Pereira over the last 2 years and what Jose's looking to do with him, I would rather have Pereira over Fabinho anyway. So you're happy with Fabinho, we're happy with Pereira, that's great. Keita. Naby Keita's a good player. I'm not saying any of their signings are not good players, but is Keita better than Fred? Apparently, everybody's saying that he is, even some United fans. Right, okay, Naby Keita's a good player. No big club wanted him, apart from Liverpool. That's one thing. 2, the Bundesliga is a pub league beyond Bayern Munich, and that's a fact. 3, Fred, yeah, the Ukrainian league, we don't know how he's going to adapt, but he's one of Brazil's best midfielders. That's why he was in the World Cup. So they've got no right to say that Keita's any better than Fred, and they're probably sleeping on that. He could be better than Keita. He's at least as good, I believe. So, yeah. And Shaqiri, well, to be honest with you, Alexis Sanchez, we may as well have not signed him in January. We're getting the real Sanchez now, and he craps all over Keita, over Shaqiri and Fekir. So what have Liverpool done? What great transfer window have they had that they keep going on and on about? Because actually, I'd much rather have Pereira, Sanchez and Fred than Keita, Shaqiri and Fabinho. And I say that totally honestly, and I know there'll be United fans in there going, because we've got these sympathetic United fans now who'd rather slate their own club and big up Liverpool. That's how toxic some of our fans have become against Jose Mourinho, because they would rather say, oh no, in fairness, Mark, Liverpool's business is really good. You've got to start looking at our own club, starting with this game against Liverpool now. Liverpool have always been our biggest rivals. We're Manchester United. Don't give them a bloody inch. And tomorrow, it's only pre-season. It means nothing, the result. But boy, oh boy, I don't want to lose it. I want to win it. And I want to go into this season and want them back in their cave, crying like they always are, because they're not going to win another title. And I'm sorry, Liverpool fans. I'm not doing it to wind you up. If it has, job achieved. But the reality is, you do it to me, you do it to United fans. It's called a bloody rivalry, and that's why I love football. And to be honest with you, I totally and utterly agree with that. I do. Fair play for doing your business, but your business actually isn't any better than ours as far as I'm concerned. I just think United fans have been quite negative, because we do need to still do more business, we do. But yesterday, I'm talking about Harry Maguire, and Liverpool fans are on my timeline. I don't know, I'm probably followed by more Liverpool fans than I am United fans on Twitter. I'm talking about Harry Maguire, looking at the timeline, looking to reply and see what people are saying, and all I'm getting is just a cheap Van Dijk. Van Dijk's better. I'm like, what? Why are you even getting involved? What? I nearly went a bit scouse there. What? But, it is hilarious. It really is. Let's talk about Jose Mourinho's clear out, and then we'll come back to how I think we should line up tomorrow night, because it is an important game tomorrow. It's another step up. Liverpool have played a lot more pre-season games than us. They've got all their players back pretty much, apart from the likes of Jordan Henderson, and I don't think Firmino's back yet, although he might be, because Fred's back, isn't he? So, but Salah and Mane are back. They've got their new signings. Fabinho, Keita, I think, might have bottled it already because he's got a sore neck from flying. He might not be playing, so that's good, isn't it? He's already bottling a Manchester United game. Shaqiri's obviously been back training, and Van Dijk, the world's best centre back, he's going to be there. So they'll have a very strong team, whereas we've still got a lot of players out. But that's no excuse. And I'll come back to that in a minute. So the clear out. well, this sort of feeds in with what I want to take your comments about the signings, about what you think in comparison to Liverpool and United, because it is unfair that I just give my opinion. I do want to take that, but there's a few things I've got to get through first, and we'll come back to that. So let's talk about the clear out. So the transfer window closes in under 2 weeks. It's like 13 days now. Harry Maguire is no debate. He's got such a Rio-ness about him. Tall, strong, a great baller at set pieces. Sign him up, says Man United forever. I agree with you on that, mate. I really do. What a comment. So, and thanks for the contribution. Let's talk about the clear out. So 2 weeks for the transfer window for us to sign players. 2 weeks for us to sell players within the UK, within the Premier League, but 6 weeks till the end of August to sell people. So I think what United are going to do is bring people in and then move people out. Now, whether Woodward will let Jose Mourinho do that is the big thing, because we are hearing that Mourinho's got to sell to buy. And will Woodward allow him to buy before selling? Because it's messed up. Apparently Manchester United and Man City didn't want this shortened transfer window, but everybody else did, and they got voted down for it. The reality is, it messes you up because you've got to buy before you can sell, which is messed up in most business. So we could buy Maguire and Willian in the next 2 weeks, but Woodward probably won't let Jose get Sandro because we haven't sold anybody. But then the window shuts, we manage to sell people, and we're like, oh, I would have bought you Sandro now, but that opportunity's gone. He's almost got to take a leap of faith that, yeah, I'll get you Sandro, but you've still got to sell players. Now, I don't think there's a great chance of us signing Sandro now. It's just a hypothetical. But who could we move out? Well, Blin's gone. Darmian will go. And Darmian doesn't have to go in the next 2 weeks because he's probably going to Italy anyway. So that's 6 weeks to sell Darmian. Rojo is being talked about going. He's got a little bit of a knock at the moment. You wouldn't expect Rojo to stay in the Premier League anyway. You'd expect Rojo to be going probably back to Spain or somewhere like that. So that's 6 weeks for him. And then who else? Maybe another centre-back. Maybe a Smalling. Maybe a Jones. And again, I think Smalling and Jones would stay in the Premier League, though. That's the problem. So it's only 2 weeks to sell them. Anybody else, realistically, I don't think Herrera's going. I don't think Mata's going. Martial, 6 weeks to sell him. We don't want to sell him in England anyway, so we've got 6 weeks to sell him. And that's pretty much it with regards to that. With regards to players coming in, don't sleep on Perisic. Lots and lots of rumours around Perisic, and that United might feel that they can do something around there. As I said this morning and last night, with Perisic, we've got to make sure that he wants to come to Manchester United. And if that happens, go and get him. Willian, I still think it'll happen, but it can't be any more than 40 million, and it can't involve Martial. If that's achieved, then it's better than nothing, isn't it? So I wouldn't be minding too much about that. Eric Bailly is going to stay at Manchester United. That's come out this morning. Why would we be selling Eric Bailly? I think that'd be a bloody joke if we sold Eric Bailly. He's a Jose Mourinho signing. I thought it was embarrassing that we sold Mkhitaryan after 18 months, but it was the right decision. But to sell another of your signings, I mean, there's even talk of Lindelof going. These players cannot be sold. Jose Mourinho signed these players. He cannot just let them go, especially when the fans have got so much faith in them. And Luke Shaw gave a very interesting interview yesterday, very in-depth. He's pulled a lot. He's got a lot of Manchester United fans back on the bandwagon. Which is good. Anyone who's watched the United stand, apparently I don't like Luke Shaw now, which is nonsense. I've always been a fan of Luke Shaw. I've always backed Luke Shaw. I do like Luke Shaw. I just think he should leave Manchester United because we need a better left back, and I don't think he'll ever get the run of games to be the proper Luke Shaw. I think a new page for everybody would be a good move, and I'd wish him all the best. I don't think Jose Mourinho will ever give Luke Shaw the games. Now, if I'm proved wrong on that, and Luke Shaw's our first choice left back, happy days, but I can never see that happening. And if I'm totally blunt, Luke Shaw needs a lot of games to even try to get back what he was like before the injury, because that injury has knocked him. He's not the player he was before it, and I don't know whether he can ever get back there. I hope he can. He spoke about the fat jokes and things like that. Reality is, I've seen a lot of people on about this today. Rooney's always been called fat. He didn't do an interview about it. David Beckham, how he was treated after he came back the World Cup '98, he didn't. He just got on with it. I think Luke Shaw needs to get on with it. I think most of us know that the fat jokes are a joke. And, in a bad way, he shouldn't get that. It's not right. But that's the modern society, isn't it? He also said he's not going to sign a new contract until he feels he deserves it, which I thought was a little bit weird, because I was saying last night that if he doesn't sign a new contract, he can go for free in the summer. And I think what Luke Shaw's saying there is he's trying to do it tactfully, saying, I can sign a new contract, but I'm not going to sign a new contract until I feel I deserve one, which I think is, I'm not signing a new contract until I'm playing regular first team football. If I don't play regular first team football, I'm not signing the contract and I'm going for free next summer. So I think that's what he's saying there. But he spoke positively about the relationship he has with Jose Mourinho, which is good. And for people who want Luke Shaw to stay at the club and be our left back, keep living the dream, because it might come true. I personally don't think it's going to happen. I think he should leave and go to a club where he's going to play regularly first team football and not be Ashley Young's understudy, both for England and Manchester United. And I think United should sign Alexandro. He's available. And I do think that United will regret not signing a left back. I do. And I also think that not signing Sandro, who's available, is going to be like not signing Perisic next year. But I hope I'm proved wrong on that. Anyway, let's move on to this. Red Devils fan says that Luke Shaw's playing as... Well, you could read it that way, you could read it another way, but let's see what happens with that. Ultimately, I don't really want to get into that. I like Luke Shaw. I'd love him to be our first choice left back. I don't think he ever will be, and I think we've made a massive mistake by not signing a left back, but who knows what will happen in the next 2 weeks. Right, let's get into my team news for tomorrow, my predicted team for tomorrow. Then we'll talk about have Liverpool done better business than us so far, because I firmly believe that they haven't, and I'll explain why in a moment. But let me get on with the team for you. Okay, so Pereira in goal. I don't think anyone's got a problem with that. And who have we got? I would put... now, I would play Twansibi and Smalling and Bailly as the mid. I'm going to go 3-5-2. I think that's really important that we go with the team that played the formation that played the other day, because Liverpool, if we sit back in a 4-3-3, they're going to have a lot of the ball. Whereas with this formation, we can get a bit of joy against them. Luke Shaw obviously would be the left wing back, and then I would play Fosu here, because they're going to play Mane and Salah, obviously, and you need pace, and Luke Shaw and Fosu Mensah have got that. It's a really good test for Luke Shaw tomorrow, actually. But Darmian's leaving, right? Darmian played quite well the other night, to be fair, but Darmian wants to leave. Jose said that Darmian wants to leave and he won't stand in his way. So why are we picking a player that wants to leave when you've got Fosu Mensah, who played a lot of Premier League games last season, did fantastically well against Man City and Sane, and he's the future. Darmian, don't play Darmian. He wants to leave. Don't play Darmian. Play Fosu Mensah tomorrow. I guarantee you'll play Darmian, but I think I've made my point. Why are we picking Darmian? And he's not as good as Fosu Mensah anyway. So that's how I would go with that. Moving into the midfield, we've got Herrera, obviously. I think he would play there. McTominay as the midfield three, as we know. And who else have we got? Andreas Pereira. This is a massive game for him, of course. And then Mata and Sanchez would complete my team, which would be a 3-5-2. Now, tomorrow, this is why it's a big game. Liverpool have played a lot more pre-season games than us. They played about 3 before they came on the tour. They're also got all their players back pretty much from the World Cup. So their preparation is ahead of us, and they've got more players than us. And I agree with Mourinho on that. So we are underdogs in this game because they've got more players, they've got their signings and everything like that. However, I look at that team and I still think that team should be able to give Liverpool a game. I mean, there are weak spots. I think McTominay looks very poor at the moment. But Herrera and Pereira have played very well. Mata's been consistent. Sanchez looks sharp. Shaw and Fosu Mensah are good wing backs. And then Twansibi, Smalling and Bailly with Pereira in goal. That's a good team. Matic might be available. Now, if Matic is available, you put Matic where Pereira is and you put Pereira where McTominay is, and you've got a stronger midfield there. De Gea's back. Fred's back. I doubt very much we'll see either of those two. Hopefully see them against Real Madrid. Well, we should do. But that is a good enough team. And I don't want to see us losing tomorrow. I want to see us going out and putting a good performance in, because Pereira, I believe in. Herrera looks strong. Sanchez, Mata, their first team stroke, important players. Bay's important as well. And that team, let's go and give Liverpool a game, because they're going to give us a game. It's not messing around now. This is pre-season, 2 weeks before the start of the Premier League season. This is about getting your game face on, getting your fitness up, getting your ball ability between your teammates going, and this formation is the way to do that. And I want to win. A lot of people in the live comments saying no Fred. Look, Fred's literally had his first day training today. He's going to get 2 training sessions in at max after coming off the bench and an injury. I'll be absolutely stunned if Fred plays. There are people who think Fred might play and he might get half an hour, and I hope he does. But I think we're more looking at Real Madrid for him. I'll be very, very, very surprised if Fred plays. Very surprised. Two training sessions after, a summer of injury and being on the beach. I can't see Fred playing. But if he does, Fantastic, absolutely fantastic, and I would go with that. What I also wanted to say as well is, before I start taking some of your comments, is I'm feeling positive about United. The Sir Alex Ferguson news was great. I think we're going to do some business in the next couple of weeks, and I think some of the performances on this tour have provided us with depth that we needed, especially around that midfield area. Pogba, Matic and Fred should be our midfield three. Pereira and Herrera have shown that they're more than capable, and hopefully they're going to show that again tomorrow against Liverpool's first choice midfield. Go for it, lads. So that's 5 midfielders. You've got Fellaini, who's an option, and you've got McTominay. So that's 7 midfielders, and our midfield was the problem last year. And if that midfield can get going, I feel positive about that. Up front, you've got Lukaku to come back. You've got Sanchez, who's looking good. Rashford, Lingard, Mata. Hopefully sign somebody. Martial looks like he's going. Defence looks like we're going to get a centre-back in. If we can sort the full-backs out as well, I feel positive about us. But tomorrow is a big test. We know Liverpool are going to play football. We know they're going to press us. And it's this chance for Herrera and Pereira and Sanchez especially, and Bailly, to really go out and put good performances and man up. Effectively man up as well, because we are missing a lot of our players. So the pressure is on the likes of Herrera, Pereira, Sanchez, Bailly to man up and lead that team, because we know the team's going to change a lot for the Leicester game and into the new season. But these players here can really get a badge of honour from Jose Mourinho if they go out and perform in difficult circumstances. And I think that's what Jose probably will be saying. I know publicly he's saying, I haven't got my players, it's not ideal. But behind closed doors, he'll be saying to these players, if you go out there and prove yourselves in these circumstances, then, you know, you're a very valuable resource for me next season, which is great. Please do drop a like on the video, everybody. Why is Fred on holiday, says Ibrahim. He's not on holiday now, he's back. Herrera played as an attacking midfielder and played exactly like a DM. He is, well, Paul Robinson's not happy with Herrera. I think Herrera's looking okay, to be honest. But I know that Paul's never liked Herrera. Jose wants to sign Alexandre, but Manchester United board blocked that. I'm very disappointed. The board don't know anything about football, says Rizal Saldin. Fred is in LA. Yes, he is, but he's only been there for 1 day. Herrera needs to get back to the form that made him wanted by Barcelona. Herrera needs a good season and needs to add goals, says Berry. I think he's just going to be an added player, isn't he? Right, get in the live comments and tell me what I started off about then. Do you think that Liverpool have had a better summer than us? Because I don't. I think Alisson's not better than De Gea. Fred's as good as Keita. Fabinho, Pereira, I don't think we need to worry about that. And Sanchez is like a new signing, and he's better than Shaqiri or Fekir if they get them in anyway. So I think this Liverpool thing is a myth. I think it's a sprint, not a marathon mentality. I think they've got business done early and they're like, oh yeah, we've done great business. But I think we can compare to their business just by Sanchez and Pereira coming in. And they are like new signings. And we're going to make a couple of signings ourselves anyway. So I'm not worried. I'm feeling more and more positive. The thing I judge Manchester United season on, though, is sit down, Liverpool. Apart from the fact that you've been gobby all summer, just go away. You're irrelevant. What this summer should always been about was Manchester City and being 20 points behind them. Have we done enough to close the gap on Man City? No, we haven't. And that's the discussion. I mean, we're playing Liverpool. We can put Liverpool back in the box like we always do. We always do. But in relation to Man City, that's the real conversation to be having over the next couple of weeks. Have we made enough inroads on Man City's 20-point gap? No. Have we made enough inroads on how Man City play football? No. Do we know what our best 11 is? No. Do we know what our philosophy is? No. Do we know what our style of football is? No. That is the thing. That is the discussion. You know, I can be positive about, I'm feeling positive about the season and what we can do, because there was times when I was really, really worried. But positivity about winning a league title, forget it. We're nowhere near that. My positivity levels are nowhere near that. I'm hoping the club's going to shock us, but that is dependent on what we do in the next couple of weeks and what our ambitions is. I really do agree with you on that one. Score prediction. The score prediction is very difficult because there will be different players playing. I don't think we're going to see much of the youth. I'd be surprised if we saw a Chong or a Gomez involved. I think that's the team to go with to my left. And if Matic is available, great, bring him in and drop McTominay. But it's a challenge tomorrow, and Real Madrid's a challenge as well. And he's got to use those games as challenges. He's got to get those players that he's going to need to rely on in the early weeks up and running, because he is right. Pogba and co, they're not back till next weekend, are they? So 4 or 5 days training before the Leicester game, he probably is going to have to rely on a lot of these players that we see here. We didn't sign De Gea, Sanchez, Pereira this summer, did we? Says Kieran Brook. No, we didn't, Kieran, but don't be so literal. Life is not literal. You know, the reality is Pereira is like a new signing because he's been away for 2 years. Sanchez is like a new signing because he did sod all in January. He's had a rest. He's sorted his head out and he looks sharp. De Gea's better than Alisson. Of course you can compare De Gea to Alisson because they're goalkeepers. They're very insular positions. So them signing a goalkeeper, so bloody what? De Gea's better than everybody. We lost a lot of points to the lower teams last year, says AW415. We did, but we also got a lot of points from the top 6. So to do that, we're going to have to be better than a lot of those teams. So it's a good opportunity tomorrow, because however Klopp mixes it up, Liverpool will play the way that Klopp wants them to play. And how we deal with that, whether we park the bus or we try to express ourselves, will be very, very interesting. Remember, we're doing a watch along tomorrow night as well. 10 o'clock UK time will be live. Make sure you join us for that. Really looking forward to it. But we're 8 o'clock live tonight as well before then. Hopefully we don't get smashed, says Ibrahim. I think a lot of people thought we were going to get smashed. I don't see that happening at all. I think if we did get smashed, questions need to be asked, because that team I put out there should be more than capable of dealing with Liverpool. I'm not saying we're going to win the game, but I'm confident that we won't get smashed and we'll give a good account of ourselves. Pereira won't get in the first team, says Chris Hill 44. No, well, I don't expect Herrera to be in the first team either. At the start of the season, we want to see Matic, Fred and Pogba, and that's quite right so. But the season's a long season. Injuries will happen. And what Pereira should be is on the bench, forcing his way into the team. That's what I want to see. I think, for me, at the moment, Pereira is ahead of Herrera. Pereira should be on the bench as the first midfielder. He's blitzed McTominay. McTominay should go on loan. He's ahead of Herrera. He is the fourth choice midfielder for me at the moment. I'd put him ahead of Fellaini. I really would. I think Fellaini should be being used as an option further forward. Paul Robinson says, if we park the bus against Liverpool in pre-season, then what does that say about our Premier League games against big opposition? Spot on, Paul, and that's what we're looking at tomorrow. How will we approach this game? Because it's a mentality thing, isn't it? If Jose says I'm parking the bus because I haven't got my best players, you're right. It's still, I'm parking the bus because Man City are better than us. I'm parking the bus because at Anfield, Liverpool are going to get at us. You're right. Pre-season or not, if he parks the bus tomorrow, it's not a good sign for the season, which is what I was trying to say badly before you made that comment. McTominay or Fellaini, says Notorious Nerd. McTominay needs to go on loan. That is my stance at the moment. I don't see McTominay shouldn't be anywhere near the first team next season. He needs to go on loan. He needs to play regular football because he's not going to get that at United. Mourinho will totally bottle that friendly. 10 men behind the ball, says Alan O'Malley. And we should buy Aaron Ramsey, says Leighton Charles. I disagree, but that's your thought. Is the news on Jones leaving, says World Cup Goals channel. I'd love him to go, but I think Mourinho loves him too much to let him go. If Mourinho gets sacked soon, who would you get to replace him, says Matthew Mustel. Mourinho's not getting the sack. Mourinho's not getting the sack before Christmas. Sky News are saying that Martial and Alderweireld deal is on. We'd be stupid to do that deal, I think. We'd be stupid to do that deal. But part of me, in a sadistic way, would be quite intrigued by it, because Alderweireld would be a good signing. And Martial at Spurs, I think he would tear it up under Pochettino. So I think we'd be stupid to do that as a club, because leaving Martial in the Premier League at a club like Spurs, I think he'd do really well and make them a better team. So we're stupid to do that. And also, Alderweireld's good. I'd like to sign him, but not for Martial going the other way, because 29-year-old Alderweireld for 22-year-old Martial. 3 years' time, we'll be looking on that deal going, oh God, they've got Martial at 25 in his prime and Alderweireld's in a retirement home. It'd be stupid for us to do that deal. I don't know what you lot think. I really do think it would be stupid though. Evan McCarthy, we don't know. Apparently there's no Jose Mourinho press conference today as well. I don't get it. He's done press conferences for every single game. And then we're playing Liverpool and there's no scheduled press conference. Unless that changes during the day. It's normally 5 o'clock, isn't it? So I don't know whether he's going to do one at all. I don't think so. Fred the Red says, I heard that Leicester aren't willing to sell Maguire and Manchester United are looking at alternative options. If we can't get Maguire, we can't get Maguire. And if we get Alderweireld, the fact that we're having a debate who's better, to me, I don't mind who we get out of those two players. I'd prefer Maguire because of the age and the fact that he's British and I like what he does, but I'm not going to cry if we get Alderweireld at this stage. If he wants a centre-back, Alderweireld's a good centre-back. The game isn't tomorrow, says Ching Shi. I can categorically tell you the game is tomorrow at 10 o'clock UK time on Saturday night. It is Friday lunchtime in the UK. So tomorrow is Saturday. It's official. Breaking news. 10 o'clock. De Gea to play against Madrid, says Banga. 100%. I think De Gea and Fred, Madrid, next Wednesday morning, UK time. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Ching is still saying the game isn't tomorrow. Can somebody sit Ching down and explain to him what 10 o'clock on Saturday night means when it's Friday and I'm saying tomorrow? It might not be tomorrow where he is. 7 defensive players in your 11. Why? Because that's the best option there. And Mark, I am positive too, but I do feel it will go either really good or really bad, and it will be clear before December. Hoping it goes really good. Christopher Morton. Look, as I said to people before, if you are Jose Mourinho out and you think this season's going to go badly, I'm not going to tell you you are wrong, because it could go that way. My stance at the moment is I'm Mourinho in, because I wanted him to have the 3rd year, and I am feeling more positive than I was even a few days ago. I don't know why. I just feel a little bit more positive. I think it's little teeny things are building my mood up, and I'm just feeling a bit more positive. I can only be honest with you. There's nothing really I can pin my hat on as to what I'm feeling positive about, but I am feeling more positive. But the start to the season's difficult. Leicester we must win. Brighton away, we should win, but you never know with United. Then Spurs at home, God, that's tough. Then is it Burnley away? Tough. We've got Wolves at home, which I think is going to be a really interesting game as well at some point. So yeah, it's not bread and butter for United. It isn't. Sandro, I don't think will be coming. Manawi, this is my starting lineup with Fosu Mensah. I cannot understand why Darmian would play tomorrow. You've got a player who Jose Mourinho says he wants to leave, and he's got no future at the club, and he's not very good. Why play him ahead of Fosu Mensah, who wants to be at the club, is better than Darmian, is quicker than Darmian, and is the future? Play Fosu Mensah. Play Fosu Mensah. That's what I say. 10 p.m. kickoff UK time, Saturday night, Manchester United versus Liverpool. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Thanks everyone who's dropped a like on the video. You're absolutely fantastic. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, bottom right hand corner. I'm live again at 8 o'clock tonight, and I've got a few surprises coming up for you over the next week in relation to our content, which I'll keep surprises. But nice little surprise for you tonight. I'm actually going for a few beers. The weather's nice, so I'm out for a few beers at 5. So I'll have had a few beers by 8 o'clock, which sometimes loosens the tongue, so it should be a good show. Live at 8 o'clock tonight. Thanks everyone for watching. Smash the like button on your way out, and subscribe if you're new, and get in the comments. Lots discussed. It's not just about Manchester United versus Liverpool. I think their transfer business isn't as good as what we've done. Thanks for watching. Fred is in America, Luke. The pictures are of Fred in America.